yesterday about what a ratio is. Who can tell me what a ratio is?
It's like a whole
Is consisting of two numbers.
Good, so it's a comparison of two numbers. We've learned about comparisons, right?
And it can be written three different ways.
And it can be written three different ways. Good job. So yesterday we kind of stopped midway. You guys should have done 20 spins, right? And we got 20 spins. So now we're going to get into using our spins, okay? This is why we did the spins yesterday, because we're going to make some ratios with your answers. So who wants to read the first question? All right, Clayton, go ahead.
Describe a ratio relationship based on your spin in which ratio is 1 to 4. For my 1 to 4, I did 2 to 5 because my one had 2 spins on it, but 4 had 5 spins.
Okay, so I see what you did. So you went off the numbers, right? But this is saying that there's 1 1 to every 4 4s. Do you see what I'm saying? So we want something that's equal to. We talked yesterday about equivalent. You guys remember what equivalent means?
Kind of equal.
Equal. It's in the answer, right? Okay. So what was the other way that we could write fractions? Erica, you said we could write fractions 3 ways. What are some of those other ways?
You can put fractions.
Okay. So let's use that. So we need something that's equivalent or equal to 1 to 4. So when you look at your spinner numbers, do you have something like that? Or can you think of some that are equivalent to 1 to 4?
1 to 4 is 7 and 9 1.
Okay, so you have one that's 1 to 4. All right.
I have actually 3.
I actually just shaded it in 7 because I'm only 6 in numbers.
Oh, yeah.
From 7. Because you said you had 7.
Well, it can be equal to, right? What were we doing with fractions when we were adding them and stuff? We did a kind of math where we were like changing the denominator to get like denominators, or we were putting it in simplest form. What kind of math did we do? You got 4 operations: add, subtract, multiply, or divide.
Divide.
We divided when we were making them smaller, right? When we were reducing them. So what if I want to make this bigger? Can I make this bigger and it would be the same fraction?
Yeah.
What's the rule?
Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top.
Perfect. Whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So what's one we want to try? What's one of our fractions that we want to, or one of our ratios, sorry, that we want to find that's going to be equal to 1 to 4? Might help you guys on your paper. What could we multiply this fraction by?
2.
Multiply it by 2. If we multiply it by 2, my new ratio is what?
2 over 8.
Good, Erica. 2 over 8. So now if you look at your spins, do you guys have a ratio that may be 2 over 8? Do you have a number that you spun 2 times and a number that you spun 8 times?
No.
No? Nobody landed on a number 8 times?
No.
Can you think of any other ways we could make a ratio that's the same as 1/4?
So I would put 1.
What's something else that a ratio of 1 to 4 would be equal to? It's another example. We did this right here, right? So what could we do over here to make another ratio?
Divide.
We can't divide it any smaller. 1/4 is the simplest form, right?
6.
Plus 6? Or do we add? Can I add?
No.
I have to multiply. Rodrigo, what do we want to see as another equal ratio? you're saying you want to find a ratio that's equal to 1/4 where we do this? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be 5/20.
What's that going to be now, Rodrigo?
So then the top one would be 10.
1 times 5 is? And what's the bottom going to be? Or the second number, we should say. We're working with
20.
ratios. 20?
So 5/20.
Good. Is that the same?
No.
That's equivalent to 1/4, equal to? It is, right?
Yeah.
Because we did the same thing to the bottom that we did to the top, so it's still the same ratio. If you guys had done 30 or 40 spins yesterday, probably could have got something like this, right? A number that you spun 20 times and a number that you spun 5 times. What questions do you have so far? None? All right. Who would like to read B or the next one? Go ahead, Erica.
What would need to happen to create a ratio of 3 and 1/3?
3 and 1/3.
3 1/3.
3
Over 1.
No, I kind of have it, but it's
3 to 1.
There you go. Ratio, right? Now fraction, I know sometimes we make that relationship. So what do you think? Do you guys have something that has a ratio of 3 to 1 in your
Yeah.
spins?
5
Erica
and
does. Do you have a 3 to 1 ratio in your spins?
3 to 1.
3 to 1.
I don't think so.
So, Erica, why don't you tell us a little bit about your 3 to 1 ratio? You said it was 5 to, so you spun the number 5 and you spun the number 7, like that? So, can you tell me in words? Can you explain it to me? You don't know how you did this? Well, how'd you do this? How'd you get that? How do you know that these two numbers are in a ratio of 3 to 1? How'd you figure that out? What did you do? Don't overthink it. Take a deep breath. Step back for a second. Just tell me what you did.
And the Avengers.
Clayton. Erica, what'd you do yesterday on this part? What'd you do yesterday? How'd you get your numbers? You did a?
Spin.
So you spun a paper clip, right? Okay. You spun a paper clip. How many times did your paper clip land on the number 5?
3 times.
You spun a paper clip and it landed on number 5 3 times. I'm abbreviating. So that's how we got our 3. So how'd you get the 7 to, you know what I mean? So how'd you get the other part? You spun a paper clip and it landed on 5 3 times.
And then I spun it again and landed on 7.
How many times?
Once.
Okay, so you spun again and landed on number 7 1 time. See? We were overthinking it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You were trying to make some real big complicated answer. Alright? So now I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes. You guys can work together, or 3 minutes. Sorry, I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes. You're going to do the last part. Your part looks a little bit different on your notes where you have 4 boxes. You're going to make 4 ratios based on your tallies up here. Okay? So you guys can work together. What's up, Clayton?
Help me on simplifying.
No, because we're not there yet in our notes. And what did I tell you when we started our notes? That you needed to follow along with us? Right? Okay. So you just have to hang out for a minute. Alright, talk to each other. Write some ratios. So you're looking at these. Can you write ratios based on what you spun up here? So like how many tallies do you have here? Okay, and how many do you have here?
2.
So can you write a ratio of that? That's all you're doing. Alright, so I'm starting to see a couple ratios.
Do we do 3 to 3? 3 to
Yeah. We had some on the front that were 4 to 4 and 12 to 12, right? Eric is writing them this way. Clayton, I believe I saw one of yours that looked like this. And then you reduced it, right?
Yeah?
Good. All right. Not a whole lot of chit chat between you guys, but I think you've got it. So we talked yesterday too about the different styles, right? You all three use all three different styles. Okay? Like Rodrigo uses this style, Erica you use that style, Clayton you use that style, right? They're all the same still though, huh? How do we say this ratio?
5 to 2.
How do we say this ratio?
2 to 1.
How do we say this ratio?
3 to 6.
Still say it the same, right? Okay. What questions do we have? None? Not a zip? Zero zilch? You think so, huh? So let's look at our sentence. Ratios can be blank.
Ratios can be fractions.
They can be fractions. What do we do with fractions? They can look like fractions. Yes, good job, Clayton. Ratios can also be simplified. We can put them in a simple form like Clayton did right up here in our example, right? How did Clayton get from 3/6 to 1/2?
Divide by 3.
Divide by 3. And did you do that to just the top? You did it to both parts, right? So that's what we're going to practice down here on the bottom. Do you guys have your multiplication charts?
Yeah.
Good.
Always will.
All right. So we've got right here, oh my goodness, look at this, 3 to 6.
1, 2.
What can we simplify 3 to 6 by?
1 to 2.
It becomes 1 to 2. Erica, how do you know it becomes 1 to 2? What'd you do?
You can simplify it by 5. Wait, no.
By 5.
3.
By dividing both of them by 3?
1.
Perfect.
I think
All right. What about 7 to 21?
1 to 3, I said.
Well, get your multiplication chart out and look at your multiplication charts. Okay.
I'm a tread.
All right. And look at 7 and see if under 7, is there a 7 and a 21 maybe?
Yeah.
So can't we divide this by, Clayton, what are you thinking we can divide this by?
3 to make 1/3.
3 to make
3.
1/3 or 1?
3.
1 to 3.
1, 2, 3. Oh, and sorry.
That sounds like you're actually just playing with counting when you say that.
I know. All right. Now, I want you guys, I want you guys to take the next 6-7 minutes, go through the rest of these, okay? Work together, talk to each other, use your resources, right? And then we will finish up our lesson for the summaries at the bottom. And then you guys can get your homework and be on your way. I would get out your multiplication chart. Erica, you guys have the little ones?
Mm-hmm.
So Miss Arbalaga made even bigger ones. They go to 20.
What?
Can I get one?
Yes, you made.
There's more than this. Yeah, it goes all the way through.
There you go, bud.
There's
All right.
13.
You were struggling with this part, right?
Yeah, there.
So 18 to 40.
What do I do?
I was right.
Nice. Good job. There you go. See?
Well, that's confusing.
Clayton, you want to share that with these guys?
Sure.
So I think Clayton figured out the third one. Clayton, how did you figure out the third one? What did you look at? You looked across. He looked across the rows, and saw 18, and then he saw 45 too. So what number goes into 18 and 45? There we go.
3 and then 3.
Well, we'd be dividing it by 3, right? So we would go to 18, and we'd go over to 3, and we'd say, okay, that's good. So then we're going to go up 2.
Oh, so then 6.
So 18 is going to become,
6.
okay,
So then
so it's going to be 6, 2.
18.
Well, not to 18. Then we got to come down to 45.
Oh.
And 45 is going to become,
15. So 6 to 15.
there you go.
This is so weird. I was at 12. Every time
Mm-hmm. So then you want to like go across the rows and find out what rows have the two numbers in common, right? And then you'll be looking up for what the two numbers are going to become. Make sense?
Wait, how come there's some that are outlined as what?
Like bold?
Yeah.
It's to help you be able to line it up. All right, talk to each other. Like Rodrigo, you can start from the top and work your way down. Erica, you can start from the, you're super close right there. You talk to Rodrigo about it. Maybe he can pick your brain. Okay, buddy, you did all of them? Hold on, buddy. You're not telling me what they can be divided into. You're actually dividing these two numbers and then writing the new one. Just like you did right here. See how you did that right here?
There's 6.
You're doing the same thing. So if we
And
put 3 into 18, 18
So
becomes
it
what?
would be 6 and 10.
And 45 becomes?
6 to 10.
You think you can fix these for me? Awesome.
Five
Thank
to-
you, dude. Good job.
Mm-hmm. It would be 5 to 5.
Fix them.
All right, let's check them out.
I was happy because of what stayed the same in this one.
Ooh, nice catch. Because 13 is what kind of number?
A double digit.
Well, it's a double digit, but what other kind of number is it? That it's only divided by itself in one. What do we call those kinds of numbers?
Primes?
Yeah, good job.
I don't even know that.
So down here, I see you already did it, but I want you to take a second and think really hard, and I want you to write a really good sentence about what you learned today and yesterday. And then I want you, Clayton, before you start, then I want you to give yourself a 1, 2, 3, or 4, okay? And then I'll get you your homework. Good morning, Miss Amariah. You guys are on warm-up number 15. Amariah, I gave you the warm-ups, yes?
Huh?
I gave you a warm-up package?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Clay, buddy, come grab your homework.
Hello, camera.
All right, buddy, go away from the camera.
I'm Clay. I see.
Come here, Clayton. There you go, dude.
Okay, your teacher's gonna be a bit confused about that.
Probably. All right. Bye, bud. Have a good rest of your day.
Either A, you're gonna have to put that out.
How we doing? 4 to 13. What's like the only number that can be divided into 4? It's only like 1. What two numbers multiply to equal 4?
1 times 4.
And
4 times
what about
2. 2 and 2.
2 and 2? Okay. If we look at our 2 row, is there any way that 2 can go into 13?
It can go in 1 from that side.
But can it go in there nice and evenly?
Yeah.
It can? Where?
No.
Show me. Show me where.
It can't because there wouldn't be enough room for 13 because if here's 10, it would have to be squished in between 10 and 21.
You mean 12 and 14?
Oh.
Yeah, I see you. You're looking upside down.
Yeah.
So 13 is what we call those numbers that only 13 and 1 can be divided into. Do you guys remember what we call those numbers? They're called, starts with a P. And it's like 1, 5, 7, 11, 13.
I think the second letter was an O.
It's a prime number. So when we have prime numbers, we actually can't reduce that one.
Because it would just say us 4 and 15.
Uh-huh. Right?
Do we do anything to it?
Nope, you can just leave that one the same. Hi, hon.
And
Nice. I'm gonna have you
other
hold.
people didn't have any.
I'm not surprised. I'm gonna have you hold on to it, and we will. We'll see how it turns out. Good job. Give me 5. How do you do? That's awesome. How do you feel about this?
Good.
Yeah. Feeling like you got it all understood? Yeah. Good. Yeah. Looks good. How's the graph paper work for you? Yeah, it looks good. All right, hold on to it for a second, and then we're gonna go over it. Erica, did you finish that? Okay, real quick before you go. Under the summarize today's lesson, on the back, on the bottom, I want you to write come on in, guys. I want you to write one sentence about what you learned today, okay? A solid sentence about everything that you learned on this lesson. And then also, Erica, still give yourself your rating. 1, 2, 3, or 4. You got it, Rodrigo? Okay, as soon as you're done with that, then you can get your homework and head on out.
And then after that, we're going to go to